Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and to the first episode of Upscaling your Dollar Tree craft items. Wow, I couldn't have said that more backwards. Dollar Tree upscaling. There we go. All right, so first thing I want to do is I got this really cute Halloween just kind of sign. It's just a wooden cutout that the Dollar Tree had, and I want to start by painting it. So my thought process was I want a deep, dark kind of blacky purple. So all I'm doing now is mixing my purple paint with some black, and then we're going to paint it on the borders. And that's what I'm doing. You want to make sure that, you get all up in there. Just go over it a couple times. It did take a couple of coats to cover all of the wood. I want to say I ended up doing 2 coats for sure. Some places I had to do a 3rd coat, and you can see that by the time I got done with it, it looks black. The more coats I put on it, the darker it got, to the point where it lost all of the purpleness about it, and it just looks the same color as the spiders and the bat, which I'm not loving at this moment, but that's fine. We will fix it later on. Now, I'm just going through with orange paint because I need to contrast that black. And orange, Halloween, come on now. So this is the route that I chose to go over and paint the wood. Now, I will be doing something and adding onto this later on. This is just basically to get my main colors in and to cover that wood and seal it. Now, I also decided that I didn't like the little filigree with the black purple, so I'm gonna go in there with green instead. And I think that this is a perfect kind of Halloweeny, greeny, Halloweeny neon green that works perfectly, and it contrasts it really nice. I did have to go in about 3 coats with this paint because of the black that I had underneath of it, just to get all of that to go away. Here we are later on, and now I'm just kind of finishing up the last coat of the green just to get it to go. And I really like it. Like, the inside really, really stands out, but I'm not done yet. So what I did was I took my clear varnish and some glitter, and I am just going around the edging of the filigree. So everything that's in green, I'm just going along with that mixture and kind of edging it out to make it stand out just a little bit more. Like I said, it's an upscale, right? And I don't want this to just be some boring sign. I don't want it to look like a kindergartner did it. And I want it to have that little something something that is just going to add to it. So, in that, I'm going in with the clear varnish and some black glitter. And I'm going over the spider and the bats with this, just to make them stand out a little more from that dark border that I got going on there, and so that you can tell that they're actually black and they're different than the border. Again, not loving that border right now. I'm not. All right, so I wanted the Happy Halloween part to pop. So what I did was, again, with the clear varnish, I took that and I took some glow powder, and I just put it over top of the Happy Halloween. So I want it to glow, and disclaimer, I do end up changing this again a little bit later on, and I don't remember if I actually recorded that part or not. So I guess we'll find out together. So after I'm done going over all of the letters, and I'm putting a really heavy coat on it, and just for those of you that have never worked with glow powder before, you want to make sure that you're mixing it up throughout. Now, I am working fairly fast. I do have this sped up, but I am working pretty fast. But I do go in and mix it up from time to time because all that powder does sink to the bottom. Now, here we are later. I'm finished with the Happy Halloween. And now what I want to do is I'm going to go over around the edging of the border. And again, with the gloss varnish, purple glow powder, and some purple glitter, just to make it stand out, to get the kind of purple that I wanted in there, that no matter how many times I painted over this stupid thing with purple, it just didn't want to show. All right, So that's all said and done, right? Now what I want to do is I'm going to dress this up a little bit more. So I have this it's just a wooden, I guess you could use it for a sign or whatever. Again, from the dollar store. I think it's about maybe 18 inches, 2 foot long. And I'm going over this with an orange acrylic paint. Just a thin coat on all the sides and around the edging. Again, we're sealing in the wood. And also, I don't want the wooden color. So this whole entire project just goes to show how you can have one idea in your head and it kind of transforms and changes into something else. It didn't work out exactly how I had seen it, but I do like the end result of it. It's just not what I initially wanted. All right. So we're done with the orange. We're going to set that off to the side, let that dry. We're not finished with this piece by any means yet, but we're going to move on to another part. So some of you had wanted to know what I do with these wooden cutouts that I get from the dollar store. And aside from just tracing them and using them in other places, here's something else that you can do. So what I did was I took the witch's hat and I took the cat and I went over it with, it's like a pearlescent acrylic paint that I got from Temu. It's a very thin acrylic paint. So you can see, you can still tell that the wood's under there. Like it doesn't cover it up as thickly as the acrylic paints from Wal Mart do, but it does give it this kind of sheen to it, which was cool. And I wanted something a little different. I didn't necessarily need it completely covered. I like the brush strokes in that. It's what I was going for. With a cat, what I did was, and I don't know what happened to this footage at all. Like I don't know what happened to it. Unless I thought I pushed record and never did, which is a possibility. Going over it with just the gloss varnish and glitter right now, just to kind of make it stand out a little bit more, give it some border, give it that little extra something. And with the cat, now when I painted him, I wanted him texturized. So instead of doing brush strokes, I kind of just stabbed the paintbrush onto him to kind of make it look a little more furry, I guess. And I did go in there with the black and the purple, the same kind of shiny pearlescent, that's the word I'm looking for. Pearlescent paint that I used on the witch's hat. So I did go in there. So now what I did was I'm taking some of that purple mixture that was left over and I did add some black glitter to it. Again, just to make it stand out a little bit more and give it that extra little something. So I'm just going to go over this real quick. Now, just so that you know, and I did this off camera, I did go over all of these wooden pieces with a gloss varnish, like an actual, like for wood, to seal everything in and waterproof it so that it can be a piece that you can stick outside on your door if you so choose, to protect all of the wood from the elements. That was done off camera. And because of that, it did go, because it's a gloss varnish, it did go and kind of glossen everything up and give it that shine at the end. So I'm just finishing this up, kind of putting a little shadowing around the tail and where the fur is sticking up in this cat to just make it stand out a little bit more, whatever. All right, back to the orange plank. It's all nice and dry. So I'm taking that table runner that I got from the Dollar Tree that I've used in a couple of other projects now, and I'm going to hot glue it onto this wooden plank. I'm just cutting it down to size right now. I'm going to wrap it tightly and get my hot glue gun, and I am just going to glue it on nice and tight so that you can see that spider web. So I made sure that when I'm kind of figuring out how I want it to be, that I have the part of the picture that's in there, exactly how I want it on this piece so that you can see it. And then I'm just taking the hot glue, pushing it down just so it seals real nicely. And then I'm just going to cut off all the excess pieces. And I'm not going to throw them away because I could very well use this somewhere else along the lines at some other point. You never know when you need a small piece of whatever. And then on the edges, I'm cutting them down some, and I'm going to again glue it kind of like you're wrapping, a Christmas gift or whatever. Just going to glue that down there, cut off the excess of it, and that's it. This part is done. From here, we're going to do some more cuz now it's just a spider webby orange board. But I want to go farther with it. I want to dress it up some more. So, back to the video I posted Thursday about what to do with those extra resin pieces. Well, here's another part of what you can do with them. So again, these are extra pieces that I had left over, and I'm going to utilize them on here. I did take some black rhinestones, and I'm just super gluing them into the eyeballs of the skeleton head and the jack-o'-lantern here. And then I'm just going to take my hot glue, and I'm going to glue these pieces down to this wood where I kind of already worked it out that I thought they looked good, just to dress it up a little bit more, make it a little bit more kind of spooky, and give it just that extra, you know, that extra piece. I don't know. Like, it didn't work out the way I wanted it to. My initial idea was to put the sign right in the middle of this wood and put the hat and the cat, one on the top, one on the bottom. That didn't work out because I wasn't thinking about the color part of it, that the Halloween would get lost. Like, the words that I put in there would get lost with the orange paint. So I had to do something else. So this is what I'm doing. So I decided, I wonder what it would look like with fairy lights on it. So I figured I will try it. So I think it's a strand of 10 fairy lights that I got off of Temu, and I'm just kind of hot gluing them around the inside edge of the sign. I started at one side on the bottom, and I am working my way around, kind of stretching it out. I don't need it to be overly lit. It's a Halloween piece, but I do want it to have some kind of light so that at nighttime, which is when you get all your trick-or-treaters and whatever, it can be seen. With the lights that are left over, now what I'm going to do is at the top of my board, the orange board, I am going to hot glue the bottom part of this frame. So I want it to come above, like where that bat's head is. I don't want it to be shown. So I just want it to go the orange straight into the top. And then I'm going to take those lights and I'm going to glue them all the way down to the bottom part of this wood. And it just happened, like, I couldn't have planned this if I tried to. It just so happened that the actual little piece that you can turn the lights off and on matched up perfectly with the bottom of that witch's hat, so that I could actually glue the little box on the bottom of that hat so you can easily get to it, and all you have to do is touch right on the back, and then there's the button that switches between the two flickering lights and then the solid light, which turned out really cool. And like I said, I couldn't have planned that if I tried. So, super happy with how this turned out. I think that it looks great. It may not have been what I envisioned in my head, but it turned out pretty cool in the end. Just a little piece of black string that I got off of Temu to hang it with, and we are done. And here we are. Here's the lights that are flashing. Again, these lights have 3 different settings: the fast flash, slow flash, and solid. So that's it for this one, guys. Stay tuned for the pictures. You can see it glowing in the dark. I will catch you guys on Monday. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff, and I will catch you in the next one. Love ya. Bye.